Welcome to my scary story hour. Today, I will have 3 scary stories to tell you. First is one from my past. You see, a long time ago, when I was 7, I used to have a fear of the dark. Didn't help that I had my own room. So my mom got me a nightlight. Wasn't bothered by it at first. Until I could realize I could see what would be in my room. One night, as I lay sleeping at the foot of my bed, I woke up. I couldn't get why I woke up, but I did. I looked around, turned my head, couldn't see anything. It felt like someone was watching me. So I turned around. There was somebody at the foot of my bed. Which, of course, was by my head, since I was sleeping there. They were in a white blanket with a crude, fake smile and eyes, painted on with some black liquid, and what seemed to be more gushing out from the eye holes and mouth, drawn hastily onto it. But I couldn't see any feet. It scared me a lot, so I hid my head under the covers. Only then did I realize that something was wrong. And I waited. And I waited until I thought it wasn't there anymore. So I decided to lift the blanket a bit, to take a peek outside to see if it was still there. Of course, my head was by the edge of the bed, and when I lifted the blankets, it was right there, a few inches from my face, divided by a measly, small wall of fabric that whole time. It was frightening, though. It was uncomfortable. So, like the scared child I was, I hid my head under the blanket, and I forced myself to sleep. The second one happened around the same time that year, over a span of a couple days. My younger sister was trying to sleep in her room. Her room, you see, had a nice view of our backyard. Though it wasn't big, it was spacious. There was no way you could hide anywhere in the backyard, not even behind the big tree, due to the fact that most of its branches were dead and barren, that it split in the center. It wasn't a good place to hide. It would take a while to even scale any of the fences or get inside the garage. Anyways, every night we would notice there would be a man standing in the center. All we could see was his silhouette staring at us from the backyard. We would constantly go to get our mom, who was only a few feet away, in the room next door to it, and when she'd come back, he would be gone. You wouldn't see any trace that he was there. and there was no way he could have hidden within the few minutes that it took for my mom to get up to check. This would happen nightly, and my sister was too afraid to sleep in her own room because of this. And so I would sleep with her to make sure that she was safe. Because, how do I put this? Everyone had an unnatural fear of my room. They all didn't have reasons. But they just felt something was wrong with my room. So, the same went for me. It stayed like this for a while, but I can't remember when, but it just stopped. Finally, the third story. This will be the beginning of at least what would be 2 videos worth of storytelling. The story of what I like to call the Wisp of Man. You see, I used to go to a daycare. And this daycare was divided in 2 sections, one for older kids and one for younger kids. In the older kids section, it was a rec hall for the kids. Also, next to it was an art room, both attached to a hallway that led to a mess hall. One day, when we left the mess hall for lunch, the teacher kept the lights on and locked the doors. Later that day, she realized she didn't have her keys, and had me go to the rec room to get the keys for her. 2 girls went with me in order to get stuff from the art room, in order to paint. But when we got there, they realized the doors were locked, except for the main door was unlocked and the lights were off. In it, though, to our surprise, we saw what were like 2 eyes, like a cat's eyes, just glowing in the dim light, hidden in the dark. But they were unnaturally huge, like saucers. And they stared at us from the void. But that's when it started getting closer, into the light more. It seemed human, its limbs abnormally long, all of its joints dehinged, only held together by paper-thin skin. Its teeth gnarly, not sharp, but well unkempt. No hair, and abnormally long fingers, and it would push itself closer and closer to us, making a disgusting popping, grinding noises of its bones, and its breath and unnatural made it even more unnerving. Scared, we all ran away, ran back to the lunchroom. Of course, the teacher, like the terrible person she was, she consoled the girls, but she forced me to go back because there's no such thing as monsters. I did go back, and there was nothing there. The keys were there, but it also left me a question. If she took the keys with her, and she locked the door and left the lights on, how did she lose the keys? Why was the door open? And who turned off the lights? I hope you liked this so far, and I'll give you the rest next time. Goodbye.